Great, lovely to see you. Lovely to see you this morning. So I thought, making my way to the mat, I thought what we would do, given the fact that Monday was International Women's Day and Sunday is Mother's Day, I thought I would embrace all things feminine, but don't worry, Brian and Ken, there's something for the men as well. Don't worry, just let Chris in. There we go. And I was listening on Monday, there was lots of coverage before the interview took over. There was lots of coverage about International Women's Day, and there was a really interesting interview with an athletics coach who coaches for the Olympics. And she was saying it used to be, certainly years ago perhaps, that men had certain traits and characteristics, things like strength and determination, resilience, resolve, and that women had another set of skills or qualities. They tended to be a little softer: kindness, empathy, compassion, the ability to listen. And she said certainly that she felt that a good male coach embodied the feminine qualities as much as the male qualities, and a good female qualities was able to call upon those more masculine traits as much as the feminine ones. And I thought that was a really nice way of putting it. And yoga has it that we are a balance. We're a balance of the yin and the yang. The yin being the softer feminine qualities, and the yang being the more masculine qualities. So what we're going to do today is a practice that tries to balance the two. So there will be some softer yin poses, if you like, and then we'll build up a little bit of strength with the yang as well. With the yang, the masculine energy as well. So we're going to start lying down today. If you've got your cushions or pillows, if you've not got one, don't worry about it, but we are going to think about softening to start with. So you're going to get your cushion or pillow or blanket, rolled up blanket, and just pop it underneath your head as you come to lie down. And you kind of want your neck free, so have a little scooch around there. So you've got the very middle of the back of your head is slightly elevated. Just helps to open up through the back of the neck. Chin softly drawing down towards your chest. Have a little bit of a play there so you get nice and comfortable. I'm going to keep my feet on the floor, my knees bent, and I'm going to knock my knees together. But if you want to stretch out this morning, extend both legs before you rest the arms down, and we'll have the palms up towards the ceiling there. So have a little wiggle and a jiggle, sliding the shoulder blades down your back. I'm just going to sit up so I can read to you. So bringing yourself this morning, it's rather wet Wednesday morning, into a comfortable position there. Somewhere where your body can feel completely at ease, the palms facing upwards, that gesture of openness, opening to receive whatever the practice has to offer you today. Come on in, guys, if you've just joined us. We just started lying down on our backs in a comfortable position. If it feels comfortable, gently closing the eyes this morning, beginning to welcome a little bit of time for yourselves, beginning that journey inward now. So starting off this yin and yang balance flow in honour of Women's Day and Mother's Day, getting in touch with that softer, more feminine energy throughout the practice today. So giving yourself permission for the next hour to shift out of doing mode and slip into being mode just for the next little while. Welcoming this way of being, accepting, so vital and rejuvenating for ourselves. We haven't always got to be doing. Beginning to notice the rhythm of your breath this morning, just flowing in and out of your body. There's no need to want to change it or modify the breath. We're just noticing how it is right now. As you breathe in, just beginning to let your body open up to that sensation of relaxation. Using the exhale to just allow the body to begin to surrender into the floor beneath you. Accepting this support this morning. Here perhaps beginning to gently lengthen each part of your breath, slowing down the inhale before gently releasing into the exhale. Breathing in and just feeling that sensation of fullness. And then breathing out, letting it all go, relaxing the body. And just allow that softness, that sense of letting go to melt down into the face, just releasing all the facial muscles, space between the eyes, corners of the eyes, the jaw in particular. So letting that sensation of softness now just travel down into your neck, into your shoulders. And if there are this morning any responsibilities or burdens that you feel that you're carrying right now, just let them go with your next exhale. Allowing your upper back to relax, your chest to open, softening down and towards the ground. Letting the arms rest heavily on the floor, palms up, fingers soft. Allowing the whole of the front body to release, to be moved by the breath. And keeping that connectivity with your breath this morning in whatever way, shape or form works for you. It might be setting the pace of your practice. You might be synchronizing your movements to marry your breath. But really staying connected with that kind of inner metronome, if you like, that inner pace, the one that's right for you this morning. So keeping the legs exactly as they are, maybe just keeping the eyes closed for a moment longer so we don't have to kind of receive any external information just for a minute. We'll start just by wiggling the fingers very gently, palms up, a little bit of soft movement into the fingers. And then taking that into soft circles with the wrists. So warming up into the joints, keeping the fingers moving perhaps as you circle, just very easily one way. And then taking that round the opposite way. Seeing how that feels. Lovely. And then just let the arms drop down alongside you. We're just going to start with a little pranayama. It's a balancing, it's almost a version of alternate nostril breathing without needing necessarily to get involved with blocking off the nose. So with your right hand, just going to rest your right hand on your right rib cage. So let the hand come nice and wide so your elbow can rest on the floor there. Right hand on right rib cage. And bring your awareness and your attention now to your right nostril. I'm going to take 5 deep breaths there. So you are breathing in and out through the right nostril, all the way down into your right lung before we release the breath up and out through that right nostril. So here we go, in your time, 3 nice deep rounds of breath here, visualizing that breath traveling all the way in and down through the right nostril into the right lung space, feeling that right hand move gently with the breath. And then releasing out and up through that right nostril. The right side of the body associated with that stronger solar, masculine, yang energy. Associated with all of those qualities when we need to move forward, when we need resolve, energy, fire in our belly. It's that yang energy that we call upon. So 5 breaths, receiving that, and then releasing. And then when you've finished your 5th round of breath, there's no rush, just relax both arms down alongside you. Again, palms up, take a couple of breaths in and out through both nostrils. Before we change sides, so left hand this time coming onto left rib cage. Again, take it nice and wide so your elbow can rest on the floor. Visualizing the breath this time traveling in and down through the left nostril into the left lung. And then leaving all the way out and up again, traveling up the left side of the body and out the left nostril. 5 breaths. Tapping into now that cooler, softer, lunar, feminine energy associated with the left-hand side of the body. Associated with a softness, a releasing quality. And life and in yoga, it's a balance of the two. Sometimes we need to know when to stop, to slow down, to release. Maybe that's the harder kind of sense of energy to tune into in this world that depends so much on what we do, how much we achieve. So taking your 5 rounds of breath there, visualizing that breath in the left side of the body. And again, when you've taken your time, no rush, we release both hands down alongside you, arms up towards the ceiling, allowing the breath to balance out, flowing in and out evenly through both nostrils. And throughout the day, your body will switch. One nostril is more dominant than the other. So we'll keep the arms where they are. You can keep the cushion behind your head if you feel it's kind of hindering or hampering you. Just slide it gently away. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's just roll the head to the right, coming onto your right temple. Gently pressing it into your cushion or the floor. Inhale to center. And exhale, opposite direction. So gently pressing your left temple down into the floor or the support of your cushion. Inhale to center. Over to the right. So moving nice and slowly, pressing the head gently into the support beneath you. And then coming all the way back to center. And over to the left. And when you come back to center, just gently slide the cushions out from underneath your head if you had them there. Pop them to one side and then very tenderly place the back of your head down on the floor. Or walk your heels back in towards you, feet and knees hip width apart. As you inhale, we'll take the arms all the way up towards the ceiling and back behind you, back of the hands might even find the floor behind you. And as you exhale, let's bring the hands all the way down, keeping the fingers nice and spread. And again, inhaling, float the arms softly. So if you need to take the arms out in a nice wide V shape to accommodate tightness in the shoulders, feel free to do that. And exhale, hands come all the way down. Just one more like that, then we're going to add on. So feet hip width apart, inhaling, arms lift all the way up and back. Open up through the sides of the body, keep the chest nice and soft. Exhale as you bring the hands down. This time, if you wish, as you inhale and lift the arms, start to lift the hips into a gentle shoulder bridge. Just waking up the back chain of the body, opening up through the front of the hips. And then exhale, can you marry that descent, hands and hips coming down at the same time? We'll do that twice more. And if you feel like a really chilled out practice today and you just want to lift your hips or you just want to lift your arms, feel free. But getting that nice sensation of just moving rhythmically today. Last one, synchronizing movement with breath. Inhaling, hips and arms lift, beautiful. And then we'll come all the way down. Lovely. And this time we're going to come all the way up and hold. So arms reach back, hips lift nice and high. And imagine someone is now very gently tugging your fingertips back behind you. And keep the arms extended as you lengthen the spine back down, trying to stretch your head, your tailbone down towards your heels. And when your hips touch the floor, reach out one leg and then the other. So both legs extended, lovely full body stretch. Have a little circle of the ankles, a circle of the wrists, a wiggle of the fingers maybe, taking that round in both ways, just again, warming up through the joints. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the feet back in line with your sit bones and just bring the arms out level with the shoulders now, palms up towards the ceiling. If you're tight for space, you can always cactus the arms, pop a bend at the elbows, lovely. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's tip the knees to the right. And at the same time, let your chin roll down towards your left shoulder, just like we did at the beginning with the head. Lovely. Inhale to center. Everything comes back to the middle. As you exhale, we'll change direction. So the head moving in the opposite direction to your knees. And as we continue with this little rhythmical tip from side to side, can you keep the palms open towards the ceiling and even get the sensation of pressing your thumbs in towards the floor behind you. So you're trying to open up across the chest, really creating that sense of space. So you come into a little twist from side to side. Let's do one more over to the right. Again, no rush this morning. And then one more over to the left with the knees. Head gently dropping down towards the right. And then we'll come all the way back through center. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Give them a hug, give them a squeeze. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slide the shoulders away from the ears. Just bring your nose up towards your knees. So opening up through the upper back and getting that lovely rounding through the lower back. Just pause there for a moment or two, keeping that neck nice and long, chin gently tucked in. And then lower the head, lower the shoulders. Hands one on each knee. Just take the knees round in a gentle circle. So a little massage around the lower back, the tops of the buttocks. Nice, gentle, flowing movements this morning. First in one direction and then round the opposite way. So we're going to come up and over to seated. So you can roll to one side this morning if you want to keep it really chilled, or separating the knees, hooking one ankle over the other, taking hold around the backs of the legs. Have a little use of momentum there as you roll your way up. You can have a little roll up and down the spine a couple of times if you wish. And then join me in a seated position. I'm going to sit cross-legged today. And if you're feeling that you're kind of slumping there, pop your cushion, your rolled up blanket just underneath your bottom there. So it just allows your pelvis to drop forwards and elevates your hips a little bit. So nice, active through the feet. So feet are flexed there, ankles flexed. You're going to interlace the hands and sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. Obviously, if cross-legged doesn't work for you today, just stretch the legs out in front of you. So lift up nice and tall, feel the shoulders gather up around the ears, and then soften there. Let the shoulders just drop away, lengthen the neck, maybe pop a little bend in the elbows there. Just make sure that you're not overextending through the chest. So a little bit of softness there. You might want just have a little wiggle through the lower back, a little movement side to side, just freeing up into the back and the sides of the body. And then we'll come to center, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's take the arms over to the right side. Keeping, again, a softness in the elbows as you come back to center, inhale. Exhale, over to the left. One more each way. So as you move gently from side to side, try and avoid rocking on your sit bones there. So it requires a little bit of strength through your core to keep you nice and stable. We'll come all the way back to center, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll drop the arms forwards, rounding through the back, chin to chest. Inhaling, sitting up nice and tall. We'll do that twice more, pushing the palms up, up, up. And exhale, release. So you're just kind of leaning back a little ways to make that lovely C curve through the spine. Just once more, pushing the palms up. And exhale to round the back. We'll reach up one more time before we allow the hands to drop down towards the knees, one hand on each knee. And from there, we'll start to circle the body. So drawing a circle round across the base of your pelvis there. Really doesn't matter which way you're going, but just starting to warm up through the hips. Maybe the shoulders start to get involved a little bit. You can make it really funky. That's one of the good things about practicing at home, isn't it? No one's there to see you. And then changing direction again, trying to move nice and slowly this morning so you can really get into all those nooks and crannies of the body, opening up some space this morning, getting into the hips. Oh, mine are a bit tight today. Let's do one more full circle in whatever direction you're going. Coming all the way back to a nice upright posture. We'll bring the fingertips to the floor in front of you. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll start a forward fold. Take your time. So when you start to feel your sit bones lift, we'll pause there. And you might want to come back to your feet. So by flexing your feet and pointing the toes forwards, we're kind of increasing that activity around the hips. And as you find your way again, maybe after a couple of breaths holding, you can extend forwards a little bit more. You might even want to tuck your chin in towards your chest, so you open up through the back of the neck. Take a couple of nice deep breaths there. It really doesn't matter how low the body is over the legs, keeping those feet flexed, strong legs, nice and active. And then walk the hands back towards you, bring the hands to the knees and roll the spine up. So head comes up last, a little rippling movement all the way up. Beautiful, bring the hands alongside you or behind you so you can stretch the legs out, give them a little bounce. And then if you have them cross in the opposite way, again, that sense of balance. This way might feel really strange. Again, nice strong feet, toes pointing forwards as you flex the ankles. Lovely. This time we'll reach both arms up, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's take a little twist to the right. So that left hand might come down to your knee or thigh. You might have it on the floor in front of you. Inhale back to center. Straight round over to the other side. So you can have one hand in front, the other behind, or right hand to your knee or your thigh, whatever works for you. Let's keep it moving. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Nice generous movement through the spine. Inhale all the way back through center. Last time over to the left. Lovely. Inhaling, coming all the way back up through the center. And as you exhale again, float the hands down onto the knees, and we'll do that circling again, this time with the legs crossed the opposite way. So it might feel a little different now because you've got the opposite leg in front. You might feel it a little bit more. I can feel this more in one hip this time than the other. So we'll take a few generous movements one way. And then take that round the opposite way. So again, the shoulders might start to get involved. You might be leading with your chin, your chest. Just let it all go. Get really creative here. Lovely. And then slowly, we'll once more, just when you finish that last circle, come back to center. Again, fingertips finding the floor. We're going to find that forward fold again. So with the opposite leg in front, this might feel really different. So again, a slow walk of the hands forward. Take your time. So you might even add a little sway to get there into that position that feels right for you this morning. Feet flex, so toes point forwards. Again, that just increases the activity in your outer hip. Chin might tuck in towards your chest, lengthening through the back of the neck. And again, we'll just pause and linger here just for a few deep breaths. And it really doesn't matter if your chest is nice and high or whether you folded yourself down a little further. We'll all be very different then. Easy with the breath, just noticing where you can feel the breath moving in the back of the body now. Lovely. And then we'll walk the hands back towards you, bringing the hands to the knees. Keep the chin tucked in, press into the knees and roll your way up nice and slowly so the head comes up last. Hands come down, give the legs a little stretch, a little bounce. And then we'll come round onto all fours. You can bring your cushions or your blankets with you because we're going to come into a child pose. It's not necessarily everyone's nicest resting pose. So if it really isn't for you, you can stay seated. If you find child pose a little difficult, a couple of tricks. You can pop your blanket or your cushion between your bottom and your heels, or you can have it in front of you ready for your forehead. Let's start just by putting the hands down on the floor in front of you so the chest is still quite elevated. And we'll start again, that little creep forward. So little rocking and swaying of the hips side to side as you elongate the body gently forwards. So again, using your props, if your forehead doesn't quite touch the floor, when you find that full expression of child pose for you, knees might be a little parted a bit. You can rest your head on a prop, on your cushion or your blanket. Or if you find your bottom is quite high up from your heels, you can pop your little prop just between your heels and your bottom and sit back down on it. If your forehead is on the floor, you might want to continue that gentle rock from side to side and massage over the brow. I've got a headache this morning, so that's really nice for me. Don't know why. I wasn't out on the tiles with Milu last night, I promise. I think it's the heating. Lovely. And then if you're doing that little rocking, let's all come to stillness, arms extended. Let's take a couple of nice deep breaths there. Really maximizing the breath in the back of the body now, the sides of the body as you breathe evenly. Oh, that's a lovely sense of space you're creating there. Last breath, nice deep breath in. Just feel the belly and the chest sink as you exhale. Just gently look forwards as you slide yourself up now, coming onto all fours. Going to widen the knees, keeping the big toes pointing together. Left hand stays on the floor underneath your shoulder. And we'll take the right arm all the way up. Take a nice breath in as you reach towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, we'll feed that right arm underneath the left. Lovely. Twice more. So knees are wide, big toes together. A little bit of stability there. Exhale as you thread the arm through. So this time as you take the arm up, make sure your chest is coming forwards, crown of the head forwards. Exhale, lovely. This time we'll reach that right arm all the way up, up, up. And then exhale, bring the hand down straight onto that left side. Inhale, turning to look up towards the ceiling as you reach up. And then exhale, a little softness in that right elbow as you stretch the arm underneath. Twice more. So again, just making sure you're keeping the weight forwards, heart coming forwards, head coming forwards, keeping that length through the back and the front of the body. Just once more. Inhale, reaching up. This time as you exhale, we'll bring both hands down underneath the shoulders. Let's bring the knees under the hips, separating the feet so we're in that box position there. Hands spread nice and wide, pressing into the hands so you don't disappear into the shoulders. Dip the belly, tilt the tailbone up, draw the chest forwards. Maybe the chin lifts a little bit there as you inhale. And then exhale into that lovely angry cat, tucking the tailbone chin to chest. And again, roll the body forwards. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, press into your hands as you stretch the shoulder blades left to right. Couple more like that. Inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. Just one more time. So this time as you inhale, make sure you're pressing into your hands. Again, you're not disappearing into your shoulders. We've still got that sense of stability through the upper back. Lovely. And then we'll come to that lovely tabletop position. Just gently looking forwards, bringing your belly button up towards your spine. And then tuck the toes under. Keep the hands where they are, but just shift the weight back towards your heels. So we're getting a gentle stretch out through the feet. You might, again, just want to shift the hips from side to side. Just waking up through the feet this morning before we come up to stand or our downward dog. Now, for this next one, I'm going to keep my toes tucked under, but I realise that can be excruciating for some of you. So you can always flatten your feet if it works for you. So I'm going to keep my toes tucked under as I walk both hands over to the right side of my mat. Placing your left hand on top of your right hand will drop that left shoulder down as you sit the weight back towards your heels there. So we're just getting a nice stretch out through the side body. Left hand on top of right hand, hands over towards the right side of the mat. Like I say, I've still got my toes tucked just to increase that stretch. We'll come back through center, walking the hands back to the middle of the mat, and then we'll take the hands over to the left side, right hand on top of left this time. Try and drop that right shoulder down as you sit the weight back towards your heels, really trying to hug your right sitting bone back towards your right heel. Lovely. Again, breathing into that right lung. And then we'll come all the way back into the middle of your mat, coming back onto all fours. Toes stay tucked under. We'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's push the hips up and back into a downward dog. That should feel quite nice. Take the sting off the knees as you walk out the feet. Maybe a little wag of the hips from side to side, a little shake of the head. Staying with that connection with your breath. So you might be bending one knee and straightening the other in a synchronicity with your breath. You might want to linger in stillness and just take a couple of nice deep breaths there in that downward dog, just exploring the space in the side body and the lower back that shape affords you this morning. Lovely. Take one more inhale, whatever you're doing. And as you exhale, we're going to come back down onto all fours, flattening your feet this time. And we'll take the left hand just a little bit further forwards of that left shoulder. And flick your left shin behind you, extending that right leg out nice and long as you reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. So we're coming into a nice side plank. So right shin is flicked behind you. Left shin is flicked behind you, right arm up towards the ceiling. Lovely. And then let's start to circle that top arm. So you might take it forwards and down, or back or down. So whatever direction works for you this morning, again, working intuitively with the body. And if a straight arm is too much for you this morning, then bend the elbow and just make that movement a little smaller. So whichever direction we're doing, let's extend that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, opening up through the chest. Take your time, push the hips forwards, take an inhale. And as you exhale, if you can, reach that top arm alongside the head there, upper arm alongside the ear, lifting your ear towards your upper arm. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, maybe lift that right leg, flexing the foot, keep the hips pressed forward, that nice sense of stretch from fingertip all the way down towards the toes. Lovely. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, we'll bring the foot down. Let's bring the right hand back underneath the shoulder as you find your way back onto all fours. Right hand moving. Inhale, take it all the way up. And this time as we feed the arm through, we're going to hold in our thread needle. So right arm feeding underneath, coming onto the right temple there. You can keep the left hand just a little further away from your face, and maybe just move it away from the face a little bit. Pressing the hand into the floor so you can lean gently into that right shoulder. Option to extend your left leg back behind you, keeping the ball of the foot to the floor, kicking out through the heel. If you're feeling nice and stable today, maybe lift that left leg, toes dial down towards the floor. That's a little higher than the hip maybe. See if you can hold for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's bring the foot down. Bring both knees back underneath the hips. Press into that left hand. Big inhale takes that right arm all the way back up. And exhale, let's bring both hands down to the floor. Lovely. So this time we're going to change sides. You're going to bring your right hand slightly forwards of your right shoulder. Flick your right shin just behind you so we can extend the left leg this time. And turning the chest to the long edge of the mat, we'll take the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, hips press forwards. And then again, we'll start those circles. So it doesn't matter which direction you're going, just moving into the shoulder. Nice and steady, nice big movements there if the shoulder will afford you that. Beautiful. Then we'll take that left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, reaching the arms apart. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's extend that left arm all the way alongside the ear, lifting ear towards upper arm. Lovely. Take an inhale. As you exhale, maybe lift that top leg, foot flex, your toes are pulled towards your face, hips keep pressing forwards, reaching in opposite directions. Lovely. Let's bring the foot down. As we come back onto all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, left arm continues to move. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. Exhale, we'll hold the thread needle this time. So coming down onto the left shoulder, the left temple there. Maybe just move that right hand a little further away from your face so you can just shift the weight into that left shoulder, just by a fraction. And then if you wish, it's the right leg. So we've got the left arm underneath. So it's the opposite leg. Right leg extends, ball of foot to the floor. And if you want to lift the leg, firm up through the belly, lift the leg, keep the toes dialed down towards the floor, kicking the heel away from you. Lovely. And then we'll bring the foot to the floor, sliding both knees under the hips. Press into your right hand, inhaling. Left arm lifts all the way up. And as you exhale, let's bring both hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. We're going to walk the hands back towards your knees, lifting the knees so we're in a little crouch position there. The feet about hip width apart. And from there, let's push the hips up towards the ceiling there as we come into a forward fold this morning. You might want to take your feet slightly wider apart for a steadier base. Softness in the knees, and you can cradle your elbows and maybe add a little sway from side to side there if that works for you today. If you don't want to be in a forward fold, for whatever reason, lift your head higher than your heart. You can bring your hands just above your knees so your chest and your head are lifted, or just hook your elbows just on your knees there. If you're like me in that forward fold, and you've got the elbows cradled, we'll just release the hands down towards the floor, and then sliding the hands up to your shins or your thighs. Let's come up into that lovely flat back, so shoulders away from the ears, elongate out through the very top of your head as you inhale, and as you exhale, let's fold back down into that forward fold. Let the crown of the head point down towards the floor. Inhaling, finding that nice flat back. One more time, hands pressing against your shins or your thighs. You can extend out through the crown of the head. And then exhale to soften. We're going to bend the knees, bringing your hands just above your knees, so just onto your thighs there, and slowly with a rounded back, begin to roll yourself up to stand, easing your way up. Just let everything settle, blood pressure, before we move the arms. Lovely. So soften the knees, inhale, we'll sweep the arms all the way out and up. And as you exhale, making that prayer position at the top, bring the hands all the way back down through the midline of the body. And again, inhale, sweep the arms all the way out and up, just adjust the camera. And as you exhale, bring the hands all the way back down. Just once more, inhaling up. And exhaling all the way down. And this time we'll just let the hands rest along the sides of the body, turning the palms forwards. Soften the shoulders, press down into the feet, or press the hips forwards, elongating through the lower back there. So I'm going to come into a little side flexion there. So right arm, we're going to reach all the way up, taking that lovely side bend. And this right arm, soften the knees as you sweep the arm just in front of the face. And then straightening the legs, we take the left arm all the way up. And then soften the knees as we sweep that left arm all the way in front of the body. Inhaling, right arm lifts. Exhaling into that side stretch, but we're going to keep it moving. Arm comes in front, all the way up, left arm. So I'm going to straighten my legs as I lift and just soften the knees as I reach across the body. Lovely. And that's keeping it moving. And that feminine energy is associated with a kind of fluidity that we're just trying to encapsulate during the practice today. Let's do one more each way. Inhaling, firing up through the legs, and then adding that softness as you exhale. Inhaling up, left arm. Exhaling, ready to change. This time both arms lifting. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's roll all the way down into that forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to, back down into that forward fold. Option to stay in a forward fold, option to cradle your elbows, or this time, keeping the softness in the knees, walk both hands towards the right side of your mat. So you might feel a little stretch through the left lower back, making sure the knees don't start to roll inwards as you come back to center. And just take the fingertips over to the left side of your mat. Lovely, coming all the way back to center. Once more, just bending the knees, you can bring your hands just above your knees, press into your thighs as you roll your way up, keeping that little rounding through the back. It's almost like we're doing a cat pose. Beautiful. And from here, we're going to bring the hands behind you. So we've stretched out through the back of the body as we forward folded. So let's open up through the front of the body. So either catching hold of opposite elbows or wrists if you're really tight in the shoulders or the chest. Or some of you might be able to bring the fingertips together and bring the palms together in reverse prayer position. So palms are together, fingertips are pointing up towards the base of your neck there. Have a little look if you're confused. Now for some of us that will be really tight on the wrists, in which case just release, hold your elbows or your wrists there. Let's roll the shoulders away from the ears. Gently press the hips forwards. Open up through the chest and just lift the chin a little ways. So we're pressing the hips forwards just to open up through the front of the hip flexors. Lovely. Just take a couple of nice deep breaths there. If you're in that reverse prayer, you're gently pressing the palms together. It's much stronger if you're doing that version. Lovely. Whatever we're doing, we'll bring the chin back to center, release the arms. If you had the hands in reverse prayer, you might want to give them a little bit of a shake. We're going to do something called a ragdoll. It's a lovely one to let go. So gather up all of the frustrations of the week thus far. Take a nice breath in as you reach up. And as you exhale, bend the knees and just let the arms go. Swing the arms. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale, let it go. All of the stuff that's been bothering you this week. All the way up. One last time. And exhale. Inhaling up. And this time as you exhale, let's bring the hands down to the heart. Someone always does an extra one in class and it's generally me. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And this time as you exhale, we'll come all the way back down into that forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Find your halfway lift as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to step back into your downward facing dog. So from your downward dog, you're going to bring your heels together and your toes are pointing out like a little penguin or Mary Poppins. Heels together, toes turned out. You're going to walk your hands back towards your feet, bending your knees until you're in a little squat position, just sitting on your heels. So your heels are together and your toes are out to the sides. Lovely. So you might want to stay here. You might want to come back up into that forward fold. Some of you more adventurous and curious types might want to bring your hands onto your knees, lifting your chest. And you might even be able to bring your hands into a prayer position. So if you can hold there for a lovely stretch through the feet And building up a little bit of balance. Beautiful balance there, guys, beautiful. We'll bring the fingertips down to the floor. Turn the knees forwards as you push the hips all the way up into a forward fold. And then from your forward fold, keep the feet where they are. We'll walk the hands forwards, coming back into your downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, shift the weight into your left leg. And as you inhale, we're going to sweep the right leg all the way up. And as you exhale, softly step it forwards between your hands. And we'll bring the back knee down, but keep the toes tucked under. So hands come to your right knee as you lift yourself up. So imagine now you want to push the knee forwards, or take an inhale. And as you exhale, imagine you want to push the knee forwards as you allow that left hip just to sink down. Chest is nice and proud, we're not collapsing here. Stretching the chest, almost taking a little lean back with the body as you extend the knee forwards. You can stay there with the hands just resting on the thigh or the knee for support, or reach the arms up, maybe lifting the chin away from your chest as you come into that beautiful low lunge. So we're waking up through the back foot. We've got a little bit of stability with the toes tucked under, a little bit of a hip stretch. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, we'll bring the right forearm to the thigh and the left hand down to the floor. So turning the chest to the right, we'll reach that right arm all the way up into a twist, pressing the floor away so you feel nice and open through the chest. And then maybe pick up the back knee. So pushing that left heel away from you, lovely. And then keeping the knee lifted, bring both hands down to frame the foot. Now we're going to come into a twist, so this could be fun. We're going to bring that left knee behind your right foot and sit down on your bottom. So we're in that little position there. Lovely. If that's too much, with your left leg tucked round, extend it out in front of you. So finding a nice upright posture there. Left hand or left elbow hugs the knee in towards the chest. Right arm lifts, inhale. Exhale, let's turn the body to the right. Fingertips of the right hand, either finding the floor behind you, or you might even wrap the hand around your low back. So just make sure that you've not lifted up through that right sit bone. So I'm just going to move my heel a little bit to accommodate my bottom. And after lockdown, there's a little bit more bottom to accommodate. Sitting up nice and tall there. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly we'll release. We'll come back to center. And that right foot, gonna uncross and just stack one knee on top of the other now, or slightly zigzag them. Whatever works for your knee. Right hand just holds on to that right shin. Left arm lifts, take an inhale. And as you exhale, like a little mermaid, we're going to come all the way across. It's such a lovely stretch out for the hip. Beautiful. And you can stay there with that right hand on your right hip, or the right hand comes across to your left knee or thigh, and we start to turn the body towards the left. So you might even bring your chin. Let's tuck it in towards your left armpit as you look up towards the ceiling. So we've still got that lovely stretch, but we've added a little bit of twist. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly, let's release. A little bit of awkwardness now as you find your way back onto all fours, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tuck the toes under. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And as you exhale, push the hips up, downward facing dog. And you might need to have a little pedal out after that twist, a little shake of the hips from side to side. Let me turn around on my mat. And then this time we'll shift the weight into your right foot and left leg lifts. Take an inhale. Exhale, let's step that left foot forwards. Give it a helping hand if it doesn't quite get there. And we'll bring the back knee down, keeping the toes tucked under. So walking both hands up to the top of that left knee. And again, we're going to imagine we're pushing the knee forwards away from you. So take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, imagine you want to stretch the knee forwards as you gently lower the hips. So as far as feels comfortable, we've got the toes tucked for a little bit of stability. Chest nice and proud. It's almost like you're leaning back from that front knee. We've got the option to stay there or reach the arms up so everything stays the same. Lovely hip stretch. Nice feeling of strength and stability through the lower body as you reach for the sky. Beautiful. We'll take one more inhale. Then as you exhale, left forearm to thigh, right hand comes down towards the floor. So we start to turn the body towards the left and then reach that left arm up towards the ceiling. Lovely, reaching up, and then we'll pick up that back knee, stretching the heel away from you, crown of the head and the chest coming forwards. Beautiful. Then we'll bring both hands down to frame that front foot. So this time that right knee, we're just going to tuck behind your left foot. So we're in that Lord of the Fishes twisted with the legs crossed. If that doesn't work for you, extend your right leg out in front of you. Let's make sure you can accommodate your sit bones, and then it's the right hand or elbow that gives that knee a squeeze, sitting up nice and tall. Left arm lifts, inhale. Nice big circle as you exhale, fingertips finding the floor, or in my case, I'm just going to wrap the hand around my low back. I just feel sometimes when I bring the hand to the floor, I'm in danger of leaning back into it, getting a little bit lazy there. So just by taking that support away, I'm having to use those deep postural muscles of my back a little bit more strongly. Whatever position you've chosen, get that sense of finding a little bit more length through the spine as you inhale, and seeing if you can turn the body into that space as you exhale. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly, let's roll our way back to center, and then we'll uncross that left foot so we can stack the knees on top of each other, or you can bring them into a little zigzag if you need a little bit more space there. Left hand holds onto your left shin or ankle. So this time it's that right arm we take up and over. Oh, that's such a delicious stretch there. So you should feel that all the way down the right seam of the body there. And get really tight there, so it's such a lovely release. Option to stay there, or left hand comes across to opposite knee or thigh. So we keep the right arm extended over, but we just twist the body. So chin tucks in towards your armpit. Maybe the gaze goes up towards the ceiling there. That's it, lovely. And then slowly, slowly, let's release. This time, hands come to the floor just alongside you so you can lean into them. Oh, hello, he's here. We'll extend the legs out in front of you. Hi, Niels. I'm going to come into a wide leg forward fold. Now, this is again when you might need your cushions or your blocks. I'm going to take both legs out nice and wide. So I like to lift up my bottom, take my hips back, and then pop them down on the floor. So again, I've tipped my pelvis forwards. You can prop yourself up on your blocks there. So a little bit of, oh, Milu's showing you exactly what a stretch should be. Let's take the legs out, toes point up towards the ceiling. Fingertips are going to find the floor. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to take a slow forward fold if you haven't got a furry friend in front of you. Thank you, Niels. So as you come into that forward fold, it's not everyone's favourite position. I know. Thank you. Keep stretching the heels away from you and just check if your toes have started to roll in or out. So maybe have a little peep at your feet there. Some of you might be almost lying on the floor. Some of you, like me, with tighter inner thighs and hips, might have your hands much closer towards you. So wherever you are, we'll just take a couple of breaths there. It's a tough pose, but it's a really good one to do. Keep stretching those heels away from you. And then slowly we'll walk the hands back, lifting yourself up to seated. Left leg stays where it is. Right heel will tuck in towards your groin there. You might need to readjust the position of your hips there, coming into a side stretch. So left hand on your knee or your thighs. We reach that right arm up and over. Now we've got lots of options here this morning. If you find that your head is just hanging there and a really tight neck this morning, you can bring your elbow just to rest on your thigh and then prop your head on your hand there, or a fist, you can really let the head go. If you don't like having that arm extended, you can wrap it around the low back. And if the neck feels tight, you can always take the gaze down towards the floor. Those of you a little bit more open might even find you're able to hook your big toe with your first two fingers and draw the body down. Now, if any of you can see what Amelia is doing, Amelia is now giving me a wash, which feels really weird. And he's now started on my feet. People will pay good money for that, Amelia. Let's slowly come all the way back up to center. We're going to come into cobbler's pose. So soles of the feet come together, sliding the heels in towards you. And just holding onto your shins or your ankles. Bring your elbows onto your inner knees and just have a little rock from side to side. You have food downstairs, Bubba? Yes. Yeah, it's much more fun to come and disrupt, isn't it? Lovely. And then coming to stillness, gently easing the knees apart, take an inhale. And as you exhale, leading with the crown of the head, the chest comes forwards, tucking the chin in ever so slightly, just allow the body to fold forwards there. And if you want to reach the arms out in front of you, coming into a more rounded position through the spine, allowing the chin to drop down towards your chest, feel free to go ahead with that version if that works for you this morning. Otherwise, hands stay just on the support of your legs there, holding onto shins or ankles. Lovely. If you've got your arms extended, take your time to bring the hands back in towards you. And this time we'll extend right leg out on the diagonal. We'll bring the left heel in towards your groin. Again, you might just need to move your hips so you're still nice and upright, pelvis tip forwards. So right hand to right thigh. Oh, thanks, Mill. Left arm comes all the way up and over. All of those variations. Elbow that's resting on your thighs. You can just support your head. You can wrap that top arm behind you. Or if you're feeling a little bit more open, hooking your big toe with your first two fingers and taking that top arm overhead. So we're getting a nice stretch up through the low back. Try to keep your chest open. So if you feel that you're dipping, maybe wrap that top arm behind you so you can really get the sensation of opening that top shoulder up. Oh, you noodle cat. Lovely. Let's slowly come all the way back through center. This time a version of cobbler's pose, but a much softer version. It's called tortoise. So soles of the feet are together, and instead of having the heels very close towards you, we slide the feet further away from you. Hands come onto your knees, and then slide the hands down towards your feet, wrapping your hands around the tops of the feet. Allow the body to yield forwards. And if it still feels tight, just walk your bottom back away from your heels. So you've got a real generous diamond shape with the legs. And if you want to, you can thread your hands underneath your ankles, wrapping them around the tops of your feet. So you're almost curling yourself up. You can think about that little tortoise in a shell, almost withdrawing now, coming into your shell. So it's a nice gentle posture, restorative, relaxing. Lovely. And then if you've got your hands threaded underneath your ankles, slowly unthread them as you roll your way up to seated. This time extend both legs out in front of you. A little softness in the knees there as you sweep the arms up, take an inhale. And exhale, let's come all the way down over the legs into a forward fold, hands landing wherever is comfortable this morning. So again, if your hands are close towards you, rather than by your shins or your feet, don't worry. Just again, it's not always good for our bodies or indeed our minds to kind of push us to our maximum, our edge all the time. Sometimes it's kind of nice just to allow the body a little bit of softness, to take it easy. It's not cheating, it's just, again, being working full throttle all the time. The balance of the yin and the yang, knowing when to slow down, when to stop. Let's take one more round of breath there. And then slowly, slowly, using the hands, if you wish, to walk your way back up the legs. And bend the knees. And just bringing the hands around the backs of your legs. Or use that there for a little bit of support to roll your way down onto your back, bringing your heels in close towards your bottom. Feet and knees hip width apart, fingertips lengthening towards your heels there. Let's take a little slide the shoulder blades down the back, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's push the hips up towards the ceiling, coming into that little shoulder bridge we did at the beginning. Inhale at the top. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly roll all the way down. One more like that. Take an inhale, hips on the floor. And exhale, really start with that pelvic tilt as you lift the hips, picking each vertebrae up one by one. Inhaling at the top. And exhaling as you lower down again, that sensation of trying to place each vertebrae carefully back down on the mat. Lovely. This time take an inhale. And as you exhale into that shoulder bridge, we're going to pause and hold now. A little bit of strength. Option to come straight down if you're tired, or if you want a little bit more, walk the shoulder blades towards each other so you can interlace the hands underneath you. As the hands push down, the hips might reach up a little higher, chin coming towards chest. You might even need to slide your head away from you a little bit to find some space. Just check that the knees are parallel by pressing into the base of the big toe. Squeeze at the bottom there. Firing up all the back chain of muscles there. Opening up through the hips. Lovely. One more inhale. One more exhale. And if your hands are interlaced, we'll bring the arms out alongside you. You can lift up onto the balls of the feet and keep the heels lifted as you roll your way down. Each vertebrae touching down one by one, and let the heels drop. We'll bring the arms out level with the shoulders. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, let's drop both knees over to the right, rolling the chin to the left, and we'll pause. So as you reach the arms apart, really trying to keep the chest nice and open there. And if the hips and the back feel nice and open, you felt okay throughout the practice, maybe placing your right foot on top of your left knee for a little bit of added weight there. Trying to relax both legs so that right knee isn't pointing up towards the ceiling. We've relaxed it down towards the floor, and if that causes unnecessary pressure on your knee or in your low back, then just bring both feet down to the floor. Lovely. Then if you have your foot hooked on the knee, we'll bring both feet down to the floor before we roll ourselves back to center. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, knees drop to the left, chin to the right, just like we did at the beginning, but we're pausing and holding this time again. Pressing the thumb edge of your hand into the floor, chest nice and open. Option to pick up the left foot this time. It just goes onto the knee or the bottom of the thigh there, trying to relax the left knee down towards the floor rather than having it pointing up towards the ceiling there. So again, you might get there and think, no, it doesn't work on this side, in which case bring both feet down to the floor. Easy with the breath, sir. So again, that balance on both sides. Lovely. And then again, unhooking the foot will come all the way back through the center. Giving the knees one last little squeeze. Coming in towards the chest, maybe a chance to circle. Maybe a little rock side to side as you just ease out any residual tension from your lower back, from the tops of the buttocks. Before you bring your feet back down to the floor and find a comfortable position just for a few moments of relaxation. If you need to pop off, thank you for coming. If you need to do anything else, another twist, a big stretch, feel free. And then find your way into a comfortable position, lying down on your back. I'm just going to come up to seated so I can talk to you, but lying down on your back, using whatever props you have, wherever you feel offer you some support. Behind your head, you can pop pillow underneath the backs of your knees if your legs are extended to take pressure off your lower back. Arms once more down alongside you, palms up towards the ceiling. Opening up across the chest, opening up to receiving whatever these last few minutes of the practice have to offer. So before we shift back into our doing mode, facing whatever to-do list, tasks lie ahead of us for the rest of the day, let's enjoy just a few more moments of simply being. So being with your breath as you once more just draw your attention inward, noticing the rhythm of your breath. Might feel a little different to the end of a practice than it did at the beginning. Maybe you're just more aware of your breath at the end of a practice, having worked with it and in synchronicity with it for the last hour. If we inhale, feeling the lungs open and expand, and then as you breathe out, that feeling of softening and letting go. Once more, just bringing the awareness to your face and that sense of releasing and letting go. Just melting down into the face, softening, releasing. Brow becoming smooth. The jaw relaxing. Softening the shoulders. Once more, that sense of just letting go of any responsibilities or burdens that you feel you've been carrying with you. As you exhale, your next exhale, just lay them down, softening towards the ground. Relaxing the arms, the hands, right down into the fingertips. Allowing the chest to soften. Allowing the muscles in the belly just to be moved by the breath. Expanding and releasing as you breathe in and out. Just feeling an openness through the hips, no sense to grip or hold. Just allowing now a sense of opening, a gentle sense of surrendering to this softness, this quietude. Just resting in the space. Each inhale, an opportunity to open and expand the body. And each exhale, an opportunity to drop into that sensation of non-doing, of simply being. You can linger in this state of being, of softness for as long as you like. You can stay there and just finish the class when you're ready. But if you're ready to face the rest of the day, hopefully feeling a little bit more open, a little bit more stretched, a little bit more connected with yourself, start by gently deepening and lengthening the breath now. No hurry. Wiggling your fingers, maybe moving your toes a little bit, starting from the outside edges of the body. Maybe a little roll across the back of the head. And then feel free, if your legs are bent, to softly and slowly extend the legs out in front of you. Reach both arms back behind you as you open up into that full body space. Arms back, legs extended, just finding the space behind you, above you and in front of you. And then bringing the knees one at a time in towards your chest. You might, as Mila was doing now, have a roll from side to side. Before just rolling onto your right side or your left side, just intuitively, whichever way you want to go, or where there's space. And then come and join me and my crazy cat in a comfortable seated position this morning. Again, you might want to pop your props underneath your bottom so you can sit up nice and tall. And let's just bring the hands together at the heart, softening the shoulders, allowing the chin to drop down towards your chest. And I'll leave you with this lovely quote from the poet Rumi, just thinking about honouring those feminine qualities in this week of International Women's Day and Mother's Day. Pour your thoughts to sleep. Do not let them cast a shadow over the moon of your heart. Let go of thinking. So maybe come back to that in this busy world of doing. Let go of thinking. Just on the odd occasion, let yourself just drop back into that sense of being. So namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me this morning. I had loads I wanted to do with you this morning, but I ran out of time. But thank you, thank you. Mila's woken up from his hangover. He's come to join us. Oh,